Time check 1:56. Good afternoon. May I invite everyone to invoke the Almighty. Let us put ourselves in prayer and feel the presence of God. After which, the singing of the Philippine National Anthem will be followed.
One of the occupational demands in the field of education is the competency in communication and public speaking. It is therefore crucial for teachers, soon-to-be teachers, trainers, and educational staff to have a good and effective communication skills that can be used for presenting, influencing, entertaining, and delivering ideas with mastery.
Good and effective communication skills are one of the ingredients to reach success. Without communication, a progressive country will fail to exist. If ideas were not spoken and were just caged within ourselves, then it will be impossible to build a harmonious society. It is indeed that effective communication skills are a ladder to success.
Speak better and teach better. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Inez Lopez Montesor,
And I am Nino Perez Arenas, your moderators for today.
Welcome on today's webinar with the team Managing Fear in Public Speaking, Key to Effective Communication. So again, magandang hapon po. Kami na naman
Good
po ni Kuya
afternoon.
Ninyo ang makakasama nyo ngayong hapon. So whether you like it or you like it, you will like it.
Kami ulit.
Again, good afternoon. First of all, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude to the CARE 104.3 The Way FM radio station for always accommodating the Raga Community College whenever we are having webinars like this. And of course, to the Raga Community College English Club advisor, Miss Bernadette Dasilio, for providing us the
Yes.
opportunity to have a
And
free
conduct this
webinar. Yes.
And partner, speaking of gratitude, pasalamatan din po natin ang ating college administration, of course with our college administrator, Dr. Joey M. Zamora, and of course our college dean, Dr. Melvin M. Guyena, and of course to FEBC Philippines CARE 104.3 The Way FM, to the station manager, Ma'am Raquel Camolandong, for accommodating us and being our partner for this webinar. And partner, let us not forget our live viewers for this afternoon.
Good
Hello!
afternoon!
Hello po sa lahat. These are our students, the professors, and all those persons who are willing to learn all about public speaking. Ayan. Hello po sa inyong lahat. And seems like they are already ready na,
Yes.
partner.
You know
Kasi, di ba, napakarami na nila eh. Ready na yan.
You know what's good in having webinar like this, Kuya
Yes.
Ninyo? We can really see that our audience are really participating because our comment box is always bombarded
Bombarded na
with
po ang
lots of
ating
comments.
Comment section
Yes.
today.
So this webinar is open not just for the students of the Raga Community College, but for everybody who would like to know some tips or strategies in managing the fear in public speaking. So you are all welcome in today's webinar.
And of course, do not also forget to use our hashtags for this afternoon, partner. We have the hashtag number 1, the hashtag
Speak better and teach better.
And hashtag number 2, the hashtag DCOMC English Club webinar.
Yes.
Ayan. So, to read some shout-outs here from our comment section, shout out to BEd Block 8, 3 Science Major, 3 Values Education, second year Stud Majors with their advisor, Ma'am Lourdes Marhalino, and 2 second year Block 14 with their advisor, Miss Thialine Villanueva. Hello po sa inyong
Hello
lahat.
po. And of course, partner, wag nating kakalimutan ang birthday girl ng ating English
Yeah!
Vice President.
Ang ating
Happy
Vice
birthday
President,
to
Miss Nicole
Bodonia.
Bodonia. Hello.
Happy
Happy birthday,
birthday.
girl. Our Barbie.
And also, we would like to announce some important matters po before we start. On April 23, 2021, the Daraga Community College will be celebrating its 18th founding anniversary. So we will be having lots of joyful and fun activities. So please stay tuned to the FB page of the Daraga Community College, the CSC,
and other clubs,
yes, club organizations. In line with this po, we are encouraging everyone to please purchase or avail the DCOMC Founding Anniversary T-shirt which we are wearing right now.
Ayan, pamay na lang po.
So, it
It cost for only
yes.
just
200
200
pesos.
pesos.
Apa.
Ayan. And partner, speaking of DCOMC CSC office, we would like to shout out our dear CSC advisor, Mr. J.F. Nase. Hello po, sir. And
Hello,
hello po
sir.
sa CSC office ngayon. Hello po. And imagine, partner, our beloved school is already in its 18th years for serving lights and hope for our young dreamers, future teachers, yung mga aspiring dreamers natin. And it is indeed that Daraga Community College is truly a pandayan ng pangarap.
Yes, DCOMC Pandayan ng Pangarap, a place where you shape your hope and dreams.
Yes.
So back to the topic, Kuya Nins, we have mentioned earlier that the competency in public speaking is really one of the qualifications, especially in the field of education. So as future educators, we are expected that we are good in public speaking, di ba?
Correct.
And also, however, despite of having education as a course, as an observation, di ba, some of our some of us are still scared of presenting ourselves in front of the crowds.
yes.
Sometimes nga, di ba, we come to school ready. You have the mastery of the topic and you feel like, I'm ready to stand in front. But then, when you're already in front of the crowd, you begin to stutter or you lost your,
Nararattle ka,
yes,
diba?
na may mental
Nerve-wracking.
block. It is because it is different when there are eyes looking at you and when there are ears hearing just for you. Di
Yes.
ba?
There is always fear sa atin, 'di ba? Kasi minsan naiisip natin baka i-judge tayo nila.
Yes.
Kapag namali yung ina-utter natin na words or mali yung explanation, ayun. Para naiisip natin, ay, nakakatakot naman ma-judge ng mga tao.
And-
So, this webinar in this afternoon, mapapag-usapan natin what are the tips, paano natin i-introduce natin, paano natin i-present with confidence yung ating sarili in a public speaking.
And whether we admit it or not, Kuya Nins, di ba, once in our life, bilang estudyante, tumayo na tayo during the classroom reporting, for
Yes.
example. And
Many
then wala tayong
times.
ginawa, kundi basahin lang. It's because we're
Preparatory
not that
reading.
confident enough in presenting our
Yes.
ideas in front of the crowd.
And considering that speaking skills is one of the macro skills of communication, we have to put it in our minds the significance and also the importance of having a good communication skills. Speaking skills are productive skills which allows us to communicate effectively. They give us the ability to convey information verbally in a way that the listener can understand also.
Yes, that is why it's really a good opportunity to every one of us, regardless of our careers or profession, that DCOMC have provided us a free webinar regarding managing fear in public speaking, key to effective communication.
And yun nga, welcome again for today's webinar entitled Managing Fear in Public Speaking, Key to Effective Communication. You can share this po in your respective group chats, friends, page or groups. And do not forget to use our hashtag for this afternoon, the hashtag Speak Better, Teach Better, and hashtag DCOMC English Club Webinar. But before we totally start the presentation, we would like to highlight first some important etiquettes that everyone should follow throughout the webinar. First, we have to be on time. We have to observe the time of others for us to respect others. And partner, for the second?
Second is to pay attention so you can take down notes, some important matters that our speaker will be presenting to you.
And third, speak up. Put your comments or questions in the comment box. If you have some clarifications, if you have queries to our resource speaker, you may just comment it in the comment box
Yes, and
later on.
number 4, keep your questions brief to manage time. So be direct to the point.
Fifth, keep our webinar safe and respectful place. So we have to be responsible of using and being active here in our webinar session for this afternoon.
And 6th, accomplish the evaluation form at the end of the webinar. So before you get your certificate, you should accomplish first our evaluation form. Alright, so again, that's our netiquette, and we would like to highlight that there should be no commenting of any unnecessary things in the comment box. And if you have questions, just type it in the comment box and our speaker will entertain it right after the presentation. Okay, so in asking questions, you can use any language you're comfortable with. Just follow the right manner. First, your name, your block, and then your question.
So take note of the following etiquettes, our dear viewers. So to kick off this afternoon's webinar, we are pleased to have our very own English Club advisor, Miss Bernadette A. Dacilio, to give us her opening remarks.
our dynamic college administrator, Dr. Joey M. Zamora, to the equally dynamic and proactive college dean, Dr. Melvin M. Goyena, to our supportive and active OSAS coordinator, Ma'am Clarence Faith Bueno, to the English Department Chair, Dr. Ida Alamares, and to our talented guest speaker, my former teacher in college, Ma'am Angelica Zuniga, co-teachers, non-teaching personnel, students, and to all the participants, viewers, and listeners of this webinar across Bicol region, a pleasant afternoon to all of you. If you can speak, you can influence. If you can influence, you can change lives. This is according to Rob Brown. As teachers and aspiring educators, we are public speakers and we change the lives of our learners. As part of our role as educators, we are presented with speaking occasions on a regular basis. This makes it crucial for us to have the right attitude and the skills for public speaking. We cannot deny the fact that most of us has a fear in public speaking. And despite of taking education as a course, it is still undeniable that most of our learners and teachers are still scared of facing an audience and deliver their thoughts in front of them. In line with this, the English Club of Daraga Community College proposed a webinar entitled Managing Fear in Public Speaking, Key to Effective Communication. This aims to help manage our fear whenever asked to speak in public. I hope that through this webinar, we can break the long-time belief that public speaking is a thing that should be feared of. So lend us your ears and eyes until the end of this webinar. And I also hope that with the help of our competent speaker, you will be able to build and express yourselves and develop an effective communication skill. And moreover, the conduct of this webinar will also contribute to the school's mission to produce empowered, productive, morally upright, and globally competitive professionals in the field of education. So in behalf of the English Club Future Educators Guild, I welcome you all to this webinar entitled Managing Fear in Public Speaking, Key to Effective Communication. Once again, good afternoon.
Thank you so much to our very active advisor. And when I say active, she is really an active advisor of English Club.
Hands-on advisor
Yes.
of English Club. Thank you so much po, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you po. And, ayan, partner, marami na naman tayo nagpapa-shoutout. Ayan. According to Rica May Legesniana, good afternoon po from first year BE Ed, Block 6. Ayan. Hello po sa inyong lahat. And of course, according to Anne Maureen Marbella, good afternoon po from 3 Bika Ed. Hello
Yes.
everyone. Marami tayo dito partner naman nagpapa-shout out. Ito pa, according to Jake San Buenaventura, hello po from BE Ed, second year Block 20.
So, later naman natin ipagpatuloy yung pag-shoutout.
Marami
Baka
tayong
maubos na natin yung
shoutouts.
mga tao sa DCOMC ngayon. So, it seems like everyone is now ready to learn from our speaker. And what would make your mood even better are the words to feed your soul and make yourselves energized with our webinar session for today. So, may we now have our very own Dr. Melvin M. Goyena, our college dean, to deliver his message.
To our college administrator, Dr. Joey M. Zamora, Office of the Student Affairs and Services, headed by Ma'am Clarence Bueno, the College Student Council of DCOMC, headed by Sir Jay Nase, Ma'am Badeth Desilio, the advisor of the English Club, the English Club officers, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let me share with you a very important quote from Alexander. There are three things to aim at public speaking. First, to get into your subject. Second, to get your subject into yourself. And lastly, to get your subject into your heart of your audience. This webinar today is already the fourth of the series of webinars sponsored by the different clubs of the Daraga community. The first was sponsored by the Math Club. The second was sponsored by the Socialist Studies Club, and just recently the PE Club. This means that quality education is not sacrificed even at this pandemic time. We're very happy that the different clubs are doing their best to help the students of Daraga Community College. Like other webinars, this is very timely because whether we like it or not, speaking in public is one of our weaknesses or fears, since we do not know what public will say about us after all. Learning how to speak in public is very important, especially in applying for a job. If you know how to speak, you are always at edge in the competition, because usually when you know how to speak, first impression lasts. So, my dear students, this is not only a webinar for the English majors but for all of you, because not only the English majors speak, not only the English majors apply for a job, and not only them are being interviewed. All of you will be interviewed when you apply for a job, so try to learn. Trump your fears in speaking in public, especially using English as the medium of instruction, and anything that you do. So this afternoon, our resource speaker will be giving you more how to overcome your fears in speaking, how to train yourself to speak in front of an audience. I know that she is very capable because she had been a trainer in English. She had been a teacher in English for decades already, and she is at present the master teacher 2 of Daraga National High School. So listen carefully, and as I've said, you will learn more from our resource speaker. So again, good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you so much, sir, for that very crunchy words from you. And so without further ado, let's now have our DCOMC English Club auditor, Mr. John Patrick Abellano, to introduce to us our resource speaker.
Natin out there, and to all the students of DCOMC, and also to the active presidents from different blocks and majors. Good afternoon. I am JP Abellano, your English Club auditor. Introducing our resource speaker for today's webinar is a great privilege. I know that this is difficult, but the thought that she was my prolific teacher when I was in Daraga National High School way back 2010 urged me to accept the task. So allow me to give you a brief description. She is a woman of virtue and simplicity. After all, she is a living inspiration for all of us, especially to all English majors. She is currently a Master Teacher 2, Subject Head in English of Senior High School Department of Daraga National High School, and into dissertation writing at the Bicol University Graduate School. She is also a former instructor of DCOMC and advisor of the fourth-year English majors for 6 consecutive years, a competent speaker, division and regional trainer, and resource speaker in various seminars and conferences sponsored by the Department of Education. National, Regional Division Editor and Curriculum Writer of Senior High School and Junior High School and DLPs in English. International Demonstration Teacher during the 2012 United Nations Executive Board Field Visit in the Philippines. One of Gawad Albay's 10 outstanding teachers in the year 2012. And lastly, winning school paper advisor from 2013 to 2016. Today, she will share with us techniques and strategies on how to manage and overcome our fear in public speaking. My dear friends, viewers, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you our resource speaker, Ma'am Angelica L. Suniga.
To the College Administrator of Daraga Community College, Dr. Joey M. Zamora, the College Dean of the same college, Dr. Melvin M. Goyena, the Office of Student Affairs Coordinator, Ms. Clarence Faith Bueno, the proponent of the afternoon's activity, the English Club, headed by the advisor, Ms. Bernadette Dacilio, the teaching and non-teaching force of DCOMC, CARE 104.3, The Way FM, headed by Ma'am Raquel, all the students, listeners and viewers, and of course, friends who are watching us via FB Live, a happy and exciting afternoon to everyone. The topic assigned to me this afternoon is very timely, as what Sir Goyena said a while ago, because there are many people who are afraid to talk in public. Sino ba sa atin yung feeling nila ay mahihimatay sila kapag sila ay nagsalita? More so kung merong mikropono sa harap nila, ano kaya ang mararamdaman ng bawat isa? So, that's why it's not just because of the English majors right now, but we are targeting all the viewers right now. Hopefully, you would learn a lot from me. So, the first, if you look at the slide, our topic for today is managing fear in public speaking, key to effective communication. Now, fear is inevitable. Wherever we go, talagang nandun matatakot talaga tayo. But the question is, how are we going to battle this fear? Kailangan, kumbaga sa gyera, kalabanin mo Hindi pwedeng, hindi pa nga nagsisimula ang laban, talo ka na. So you have to make sure to really turn into a courageous person so that you can defeat the battle. Okay, so let us now move on with our slide. We start now with our presentation. So, The topic is Managing Fear in Public Speaking, Key to Effective Communication. The next slide, friends, is the poster that is used by the English Club because the English Club is a proponent of the activity. If you look at it, diba nakalagay na po doon yung schedule natin, and then pasok na kayo sa link so that you can be with me in this seminar. Okay, what are the objectives? Pasok po tayo sa objectives. First is define public speaking. Okay, next is discuss issues related to public speaking. The third objective, discuss strategies for becoming a better public speaker. And of course, after we are done with the first three objectives, we summarize whatever we have discussed. So, it's going to be interactive kasi kailangan ko ang mga sagot ninyo mamaya. So, it's not only me, it's not only the speaker who will be talking right now, but I need your answers later on as we go along with our session. Okay. What is the definition of public speaking? Punta po muna tayo sa technical na definition. So, in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, public speaking is the act or process of making speeches in public. Pag sinabi po nating public, alam mo na kaagad na maraming nanonood sa'yo o maraming makikinig sa'yo. Hindi pwede na you are only in your own room or in the comfort room by yourself and then you would pretend to be talking but there is no audience. So it's not considered to be speaking in public. So we are clarifying that. It is only public speaking when you have an audience. So it is the process of speaking to a few or many people with the purpose of informing, motivating, persuading, educating, or entertaining the listeners. Okay, so labas na tayo ngayon, ano? So alam na natin, ano ba talaga ang public speaking? Sabi nga natin, you should have an audience. Okay. Then, let's now go into another technical term. Idagdag natin sa vocabulary ng audience and ng viewers natin. We have the word glossophobia. When we say glossophobia, it is fear of public speaking. It is informally referred to as stage fright. It is single most common phobia and is thought to affect as many as 3 out of every 4 people. So kung titingnan natin, pag sinabi kasing phobia, meron tayong takot. Hindi pa nga nagsisimula, takot ka na. Okay? Sige. So, now that you know what glossophobia is, in your notes, isulat mo na glossophobia kasi sabi kanina ng ating host ni Eunice, di ba? You can take down notes. Baka mag-test si teacher later on, di ba? It is stage fright. Okay. Tingnan natin yung susunod na slide. Pag sinabi kasing ordinary public speaker, ibig sabihin, hindi ka pa ganun kagaling. Nagsisimula ka pa lamang. Okay? So, look at the image. Meron na 3 taong nandyan. Diba? May mikropono yung isa. Takot na takot sila. If you look at the quotation by Brian Tracy, it says, "It is not failure itself that holds you back. It is the fear of failure that paralyzes you." Yun kasi tayo, di ba? Masyado tayong conscious ng ating reputation. Ano na lang sasabihin nila pag nagkamali ako, pag tatawanan ako? Ano na lang sabihin nila, di ba? Naku, presidente ako, naku, teacher ako, English teacher pa man din, tapos mag-fail ako sa public speaking. Ala, baka pagtawanan ako. So, because of that fear, that what is being dictated by the brain, tendency is you have not even started, takot na takot ka na. And that is again an ordinary public speaker. Now, ang tanong, ang public speaking ba ay para lamang sa mga guro? Is it only for teachers? Is it only for entrepreneurs? Is it only for businessmen or politicians? The answer is no. Because public speaking may be used by all of us. Because if we talk about public speaking, it is a public affair. Lahat tayo, we all do public speaking at different levels, point in time. And sometimes you are not even aware na public speaking na ang ginagawa mo. Ngayon, naramdaman mo na ba or have you ever experienced wherein when your mind doesn't know or you are not conscious about it, ang galing-galing mo, 'di ba? Kasi yung subconscious mo hindi alam na may nanonood sa'yo. Pero nung nalaman mo na may audience ka, wow, biglang nakalimutan mo lahat. Nagkaroon ka na ngayon ng mental break, not mental breakdown, but nakalimutan mo lahat ng sasabihin mo. Nag-blackout ka. Naramdaman mo na ba yon? You are not alone. I have experienced that way back when I was once a student. So, you are not alone on the boat. We are on the same boat. Ang gagawin lang natin ngayon sa session ko ay mag-iisip tayo ngayon ng strategy kung paano natin kakayanin yung ma-overcome itong takot na ito. Okay? So, we now move on with the next. I will show you a video. Okay? What you are going to do as participants, yung mga viewers natin, you are going to describe what you see in the video and you may type your answers on the chat box. It can be just a word, it can be a phrase, it can be a sentence. Bahala ka na. Basta kung anong nakita mo doon, anong na-observe mo, isulat mo. Okay? So are we ready? Okay, let us now view the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here tonight to urge you, not to beg you, to join with me against this fiendish plot to deprive us of one of our most basic human rights. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the right to wear socks. It is absolutely disgraceful that socks are to be banned. They are vital for our warmth, our hygiene, and our very sense of identity. How many of us do not have a precious memory of a favourite pair of socks? Perhaps your memories are rows of soft socks, tucked snugly away in drawers, or mummy loving you pulling white socks over your feet as children, or your sense of being a rebel and wearing red socks instead of white to school for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we let the killjoys rob us of these memories? If we do, what other appalling acts will we be forced to suffer? Will it be our very underwear under attack next? It is a well-known fact that the greatest civilizations are those who wear socks, and I'm sure that you as intelligent and caring people are fully aware of this. By taking away the human right of wearing socks, these faceless bureaucrats obviously want to turn us back into the shoeless cavemen we once were. So join with me now to fight this invasion of our rights before it's too late and they cause the collapse of our civilization. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and good night.
Okay. Sige nga. You can type your answers on the chat box. Ano ba ang na-observe mo doon? What did you see? Can you describe? It can be a word, it can be a phrase, it can be a sentence. Ano ba yung manner ng pagsasalita ng lalaki doon sa video? Tingnan nga natin. Hopefully our students or whoever are those who are tuned in right now on FB Live can already type their answers on the chat box. Okay? Tingnan nga po natin. Comments. Sabi dito ni Jobert Besmonte, wala po siyang, hindi naiintindihan ang sinasabi niya. Mahina po yung boses. No eye contact. Okay. Ang gagaling ng ating mga listeners and viewers. Ang bilis din po magsalita. According to Mark, the speaker is very fast in talking. Reading is not literally public speaking. Nagbabasa lang po siya. Hindi siya nakikipag eye-to-eye contact sa kanyang mga viewers. Nakalagay pa ang kanyang kamay sa kanyang bulsa. Hindi po yan tama sa public speaking. Napakalayo ng kanyang sinasabi, hindi namin maramdaman. Okay, thank you very much my dear viewers. Hindi ko makuha yung mga names nyo, pasensya na kayo kasi ang daming sumasagot, ang bilis-bilis ng ating turnout. Hindi ko nga makuha yung mga names dahil ang dami na sumasagot. Monotone, walang gesture, walang gana magsalita. Ang gagaling ng ating mga participants ngayon. Okay, tingnan nga natin kung swak yung mga sagot ninyo. Tama kaya yung mga sinabi nyo kanina. Okay? Let us now move on with the symptoms. Tingnan nga natin ano ba ang signs ngayon para masabi natin na ang speaker ay nagpapakita ng insecurities niya at hindi siya magaling sa public speaking. Okay, so first we have the following symptoms. Symptoms of speech anxiety can be categorized into 3 groups. Magsimula muna tayo sa physical aspect. First, increased heart rate. Kumakabog-kabog ang iyong dibdib, di ba? Nako, hindi pa nga nagsisimula, grabe na. Then you have increased blood pressure. Nag-shoot up ang blood pressure, pag nag-BP sa'yo, nako, hala, sometimes nga, ospital na ang bagsak mo kasi hindi mo na manage yung takot mo eh. Kaya, biglang nag-shoot up yung blood pressure mo. Sweating, nagpe-perspire ka, hindi mo ma-explain kung anong nararamdaman mo. Then you have heavy breathing. Diba? Hindi ka makahinga. Kahit yung muscles mo, nagiging stiff, tumitigas siya, tapos dry mouth ka. Okay, nararamdaman nyo ba yan o naramdaman nyo ba yan once in your life nung alam mong isasalang ka na ngayon on stage ng iyong teacher o kaya naman ng principal mo? Ikaw na pala ang mag-MC o magiging master of ceremony. Naramdaman mo ba yan? Kaya if you look at the image on the slide, di ba? 4 ang microphone niya. You have 4 microphone there in front of you pero takot na takot siya. Ganyan din ba ang naramdaman ninyo? Okay? So tama yung mga sagot nyo kanina. Babalikan natin yung mga sagot nyo. Swak, nakuha nyo. Punta naman tayo sa verbal. Okay? Pagdating sa verbal, tense voice, quivering voice, repetition of ums and Di ba, pag nagsasalita ka, sabihin mo, ini-inject mo yon in between your words. Hindi maganda yon. Sign pa rin yon that you are experiencing fear and anxiety. Pag sinabing quivering voice, ramdam na takot ka. Di ba? Nag-shake yung boses mo. So, ang tanong, anong gagawin ko? Grabe talagang takot ko. Ito na ngayon ang challenge sa'yo. Kailangan hindi mahalata sa'yo that even though you have all those signs of nervousness, the verbal and physical, your audience should not notice it. Kumbaga, nasa nagdadala yan. Okay? Now, punta tayo sa third, non-verbal. Itong mahirap, di ba? Non-verbal kasi. Tone of voice, facial expression, and body movement. Kanina doon sa video, ang gaganda ng mga sagot ng ating mga viewers. Sinabi nila na no eye contact, very fast, at ang kanyang kamay nakalagay pa sa bulsa. Tama. Kasi pagdating sa non-verbal, kahit ang pag-aayos ng mukha mo, pag-aayos ng buhok mo, part yan ng non-verbal communication. At sign pa din yan na you are scared and you are experiencing anxiety. Kailangan mong madala ang sarili mo na hindi mahalata ng audience na ganun ang takot mo kasi you are the best visual aid. Di ba mga teachers, alam yan na we are the best visual aid in the classroom. Kaya kailangan prepared tayo. Walang kopya. Kasi kung may kopya tayo, it is a sign of unpreparedness and you lack mastery. You would only get the attention and respect of your students in the classroom if they see you without a book, if they see you without a copy. You can express yourself fluently and without copy. Kasi nga, confident si teacher. Facial expression, pagdating sa facial expression, alisin mo yung kamay mo at inaayos mong sarili mo, di ba? Yung makeup mo, how do I look, facial expression mo, kailangan doon, ang pagbigkas mo, kailangan mo ng nakatawa pero nakasimangot ka. Yung linya sa script mo, yung linya sa speech mo, you have to smile already and project as if you're happy, but it's contradicting your facial expression. So, ibig sabihin, it's not too late. Kasi meron tayong myth na sinasabi na, ay, very late na ako dyan, matanda na ako, di ba? No more time for improvement ako kasi nasa 40s na nga ako, nasa 25, 30s, ang hirap na. But you are mistaken. As long as we are alive, there is hope. As long as we are alive, we are given the opportunity to improve ourselves and to improve our craft. At yun po ang aaralin natin ngayon. Ano ba ang mga dapat nating gawin? Okay? So, shout out. Express yourself again. Okay? You are going to type again on the chat box. Ang tanong ay ganito. Why are you scared to talk in front of an audience? Uulitin ko ang tanong. Why are you scared to talk in front of an audience? It can just be a phrase, it can be a sentence, or it can even be a word. So, can we now look into the chat box and see kung ano ang sagot ng ating mga viewers and listeners right now? Are you scared? Why are you scared to talk in front of an audience? Tingnan nga natin kung merong sagot ang ating mga participants ngayon. Okay, nakikita ko yung mga sagot pa nila kanina. Ibig sabihin, ako ang daming sagot kasi hanggang ngayon, nandoon pa rin tayo sa question ko kanina. Okay? So, bakit kaya kayo natatakot? When we are talking in front of people, we should not be like him. O, kanina pa yon. So, ito, Ronaldin said, low voice. O, kanina pa rin yon. Tingnan natin. Why are you scared to talk in front of the public? Oh, ayan, meron na tayo. Sabi ni Jomar dito, kasi hindi ako prepared. Oy, very good. Hindi daw siya preparado. So, preparedness is really very important. I don't like the way I look. Sige, that's good. Thank you for your honesty. Ano pang sinasabi dito? I need time to practice because minsan sinasalang ka ng walang preparation. Okay, thank you. Honest ang ating mga listeners. Sige, tama yon. Ano pa ba ang mga kasagutan ninyo? Bakit kayo natatakot to speak in public? Okay, sabi nga, ang daming sumasagot ng hindi kami prepared, wala akong guts, I have very low self-esteem, I don't love the way I look, so it's more on self-esteem pa rin, unpreparedness, yun ang karamihan ng mga sagot ng ating mga listeners. Okay, yun. So, tingnan nga natin. Kasi sinasagot na, posture, hindi ba ganda ang posture ko? Ay, thank you for your honesty. Okay. I have to be in my proper attire. Yun, talagang nakarating tayo doon sa attire. Contributory ba ang pananamit natin sa pagiging magaling natin as public speaker? Mamaya, pupunta tayo dyan. Okay. Hindi po ako preparado. Yun ang commonality ng mga sagot nila pag hindi sila prepared. Okay, I'm worried about my grammar. Patrick Alcantara. Okay, I'm worried about my grammar. Sige, salamat po, Active na active ang ating mga viewers ngayon. Sige, punta tayo sa next slide. Tingnan nga natin kung tama ang mga sagot nila. Causes why you fear speaking in public. First, walang sumagot nito kanina. Sabi dito, meron na, fear of being criticized. Afraid to be criticized. I stutter when I speak. Scared to be judged by my words, according to Marjorie. Okay. Sabi ni Roldan, I'm afraid to be laughed at by people. I'm afraid that I might do mistakes. Ayun. Sige nga, balikan natin yung slide. First, traumatic experience. Ano ba yan? Meron ba kayong mga hugot once in your life na meron kayong mga teachers na pinahiya kayo sa harap ng mga classmates nyo? No offense meant mga teachers, teacher din ako. Pero nung estudyante tayo, di ba? Ang laki ng responsibility ng teacher sa buhay natin because they can make or unmake our lives. It's either making us or breaking us. Ako naaalala ko na napahiya ako ng isang teacher ko. Pero I will not name names, di ba? Napahiya ako sa harap ng klase. Ano ang dahilan? Hindi ko na-memorize yung speech na pinapadeliver niya. Ano ang dahilan? Hindi daw ako preparado. Ano pa ang dahilan? Hindi ko daw maabot yung expectations na sinet niya kasi kailangan daw ready kasi matagal ko nang binigayan sa inyo. O syempre naman ako, napahiya, I clammed up. Doon bumaba ang self-esteem ko. So I was not spared of that experience, of that traumatic experience, of being belittled and being humiliated by my teacher way back during my secondary days. Okay? Yon. So, ano ba ang traumatic experience inyo? No matter how traumatic yun, friends and my dear students, yung mga nakikinig sa atin, hindi tayo magpapatalo. Dahil lang ba sa traumatic experience na yon, nag-decide ka nang to give up and not give a good fight? Kailangan hindi, ganun, di ba? Kailangan we have to do something about it. And madaming sagot ang ating mga viewers kanina na hates to commit mistakes. Sino nga naman ang gustong magkamali, di ba? Who among us want to be laughed at by people? Who among us want to be bullied and belittled at insultuhin, di ba? Ng ating mga listeners, ng ating mga classmates dahil nagkamali tayo. Yun pa lang na ibubuli ka na, they will call you names, nakakatakot na yon. Okay? Then doesn't like to be laughed at or bullied. Sinagot siya ng ating mga viewers kanina. Okay? High expectations, perfectionist attitude. Ako may pagkaganyan. Meron siyang magandang idinudulot, pero meron din siyang kasamaang idinudulot. When you become unhappy and you become depressed, you cannot handle the situation anymore, then that's not good. Diba? Kasi, oo nga, nagkamali ka, then you have to do something about it. But because I have very high expectations about myself, na pag nagkamali ako, parang mortal sin na at hindi na ako makatulog dahil nagkamali ako. At paulit-ulit kong kinukulit yung mga kaibigan ko at sinasabi ko, kumusta yung ginawa ko kanina? Nakakatawa ba ako? Bakit ano nangyari? At hindi ka na nakatulog. Nako, mahirap yan, di ba? Kasi kung hindi natin ma-manage ang ating disappointments, that would later on turn into depression. And the moment you are not able to handle the depression, doon na papasok ang mas mabibigat na problema. And we decide to clam up, lock ourselves in the room, not socialize with people, doon na. It would deepen the problem already. So we have to be able to accept our weaknesses and turn them into strengths. Okay? Then we have trying to control something that is out of your hands. Halimbawa, prepared na prepared ka. Uy, biglang nag-brown out, lights off lahat. Diyos ko Lord, parang binagsakan ka na. Hindi mo yun controlled. Diba? Why will you blame yourself for something that you are not at fault? Another, bigla kunyari yung internet, nawala. Sasalita ka, ready ka na. Sasabihin ngayon ng speaker, hala, baka sabihin ngayon ng listener sa akin na hindi ako prepared. Kasi yung internet ko nag-mess up. Ay, yung laptop ko nag-mess up. Ay, naku, tumunog bigla yung cellphone ko. Hala, affected na ang performance ko. But remember, these are things that sometimes is out of your hands. So, do not blame yourself. Then, of course, sinabi ito kanina. Sabi doon, no mastery of the English language. Ako, English teacher po ako. I remember once in my life, masyado akong mahigpit sa classroom. Alam na mga estudyante ko yan. English speaking policy. Diba? Hala, bawal kayo mag-Filipino sa klase ko. Pero ngayon ang DepEd, meron na tayong sinasabing, we are toning down for our students. Ngayon, accepted na natin. At kailangan lang naman natin ipaintindi sa kanila that when you are in our classroom, in an English class, we are teaching you something academic. And when we say academic, we go into what is supposed to be done by an English teacher. Pero kung ang estudyante hindi na nakapag-express ng sarili niya, inaalaw na natin ngayon ang mga kabataan to speak in Filipino and then we allow them to translate in English later on. Pero nung mga una, hindi di ba? Yung ating orientation nung mga una talaga, mahigpit tayo na, nako, you're in an English class. Bawal lang ang Filipino dito. It has to be learning the language. Pero ano ba yan? Halimbawa ikaw, you are about to speak in public. Diba, reason talaga yan na ayokong tumayo dyan kasi balubaluktot ang English ko. What about if I mess up in my pronunciation? What about English teacher ako? English major ako sa DCOMC o kahit anong eskwelahan pa yan. Nako, tapos ang pronunciation ko magkakamali. Ay, hindi pwede yan. Mortal sin yan. Baka pagtawanan ako. So, it now becomes really a cause for public speaking. Kasi, pag alam mo na hindi ka pwedeng magkamali kasi nga English major ka, yun pa lang yun, or non-English major ka, hindi ka magaling magsalita ng English, definitely becomes a stumbling block into talking and pronouncing well and executing well in your performance. Okay? So, ang mga viewers natin kanina, tama sila. O eto, may sabi ni Angelica Lorica, yes po, pinapahiya kami minsan ng aming mga teachers. Hala, teachers, o narinig nyo yan. Traumatic. Sabi ni Jordan, hindi ko makalimutan yung mga pagkakataon na pinagtatawanan ako. Kahit nga yung teacher ko, pinagtatawanan ako. O teachers ha, hindi kami here to humiliate anyone. This is a generalized answer. Kung guilty tayo, tamaan, wag magalit. O haya, sabi yan ng mga estudyante natin. Okay, so punta na po tayo ngayon sa examples. Carlos P. Romulo, from 1899 to 1985, was an author and the foremost diplomat of the Philippines. He was the only Filipino journalist to win the Pulitzer Prize and the first Asian to serve as president of the United Nations General Assembly in 1949. He also gained prominence as America's most trusted Asian spokesman. O bakit binibigay kong example si Carlos P. Romulo? Okay, nung bata pa si Carlos P. Romulo, naranasan din niya ang kutsain. Pinagtawanan din siya, nabuli din siya. Ang liit-liit ni Carlos P. Romulo, but he was very intelligent. Pero naranasan niya yung ayaw niyang magsalita. He basically committed a lot of blunders and mistakes every time he would speak. Pero ang tanong, di ba ang United Nations, 193 states o countries ang nagpa-participate sa UN. And in the year 1949, he was elected as the president in the UN General Assembly. Imagine that. Kasi si Romulo, ginawang representative ng bansa natin sa UN kasi siya nga ang appointed na representative ng bansa natin sa United Nations. Ngayon, yung lahat ng nakaupo na 193 dignitaries sa United Nations, siya ang itinalaga bilang presidente in the year 1949. At doon din nagkaroon siya ng pagkakataon to deliver a speech. And would you believe, a Filipino na maliit, a Filipino, i-compare mo doon sa ibang dignitaries na mayayaman ang mga bansa nila, tayo, third world. Tapos, ang liit ni Carlos P. Romulo, pero elected president siya. At would you believe, standing ovation siya nung nag-deliver siya nung speech. Ano ba ang sinasabi ko, viewers and listeners? Hindi yan sa taas. Hindi yan sa laki ng tao. Hindi yan sa ganda. Kundi, how passionate are you to improve yourself in your craft? Because Carlos P. Romulo is not an exemption. Siya mismo ang gumawa ng paraan para matalo niya yung mga insecurities niya sa buhay. So, one example yan. Ngayon, punta tayo sa next. If you look at the picture, isang tingin mo pa lang, kakaiba si Nick Vujicic. Okay, kukorek kong sarili ko kasi chinek ko yon. Di ba? Pag speaker, kailangan i-check natin. So, Nick Vujicic was an Australian-American Christian evangelist born with Tetra Amelia syndrome, a rare disorder characterized by the absence of arms and legs. He is a painter, swimmer, skydiver, and motivational speaker. Kung titingnan mo ang picture, yan po siya nung bata siya. Siyempre, kung ikaw ang magulang ni Nick, devastated ang mga magulang niya. Hindi nila matanggap kung bakit ganon ang kanilang anak. Pero in spite of that, na pinanganak siyang without arms and without legs. Siya ngayon, if you look at the next slide, siya ngayon ay rank 2, male motivational speaker around the world. Diba? Nakaka-inspire yan ang story niya. Kung titingnan mo yung book na ginawa niya, Life Without Limits. So, kung mismong si Nick Vujicic ang nagsabi na may silbi ako sa mundo, oo, binigyan ako ni Lord ng ganito, wala nga akong kamay at paa. But God gave me a mission, and that mission I have to discover. Kaya number 2 siya ngayon sa motivational speakers around the world. Kasi ang dami niyang napapaiyak at ang dami niyang nababago ang buhay dahil sa kanyang talent sa pagsasalita. Ngayon punta tayo sa next slide. Ayan. Mag-iisip siguro kayo, wow, asawa niya ba yan? Nakapag-asawa ba siya? Ay, ang dami niyang anak. Mga anak niya ba yan? Sagot ko, yes. Opo. Mga anak niya yan. So, kaya nga, life without limits. Option mo yon, choice mo yon bilang tao. If you don't like to live and you like to mess up and do something bad with your life and waste it, is your choice. Pero ang tanong, be inspired by the story of Nick Vujicic. Nakapag-asawa siya. He is living a normal life. And if you look at the quotation, ang galing-galing ng quotation niya kasi sabi niya, if a man without arms and legs is dreaming big, why can't we? Why can't we all? Totoo yun, di ba? Tayo nga, kumpleto ang ating pangangatawan. Nag-give up ka agad. Pero siya, tingnan nyo, ang galing niyang swimmer, skydiver. Imagine, talagang skydiving pa ang kanyang pastime. O, paano kaya nangyari yun? O, hindi ko nasasagutin yun. Let your imagination work na lang tayo dito. Tatalon siya, galing sa taas. Paano kaya pag bumagsak siya? O, hindi ko nasasagutin yan. Sabi ko nga, let your imaginations work. Pero sabi ko, di ba nakaka-inspire po si Nick Vujicic and Carlos P. Romulo? Okay, sige. Punta tayo dito sa quotation. According to Lee Iacocca, you can have brilliant ideas. But if you can't get them across, your ideas won't get you anywhere. Totoo ito, di ba? Imagine yourself, ang dami-dami mong idea sa isip mo, ang dami mong gustong sabihin, ang dami mong, you are very creative, pero hindi mo maput across yung message mo sa tao. Ano na lang mangyayari sa atin? Ano na lang mangyayari sa'yo? Eh di ba sabi nga kanina ni Sir Melvin sa sinabi niya, you can only be successful in your career, di ba? You will go places. Kailangan mong i-battle ang fear mo in talking kasi you have to capitalize on that. Ang teachers, imagine nga ay teacher who cannot talk. Siyempre kung SPED, ibang usapan na yon kasi yung mga teachers sa SPED, trained sila to handle SPED learners. Pero pag pinag-uusapan natin ang regular classroom, try to imagine a teacher o ang teacher mo sa buhay mo, yung guru mo, hindi makapagsalita. Ano na lang ang mangyayari sa classroom natin? Diba? So may problema ka agad doon kasi how will your students learn from you if you will not put across the message to them? And remember, again, sabi nga natin sa title natin kanina, to effective communication. Bigyan natin ng konting review, di ba? Ang communication process, merong speaker. Yung speaker will deliver a message to the listener using a channel of communication. Di ba? Through a message. Diba? Pwedeng verbal or non-verbal yung message natin. Ngayon, kung hindi mo na put across sa learners mo o sa listeners mo yung gusto mong sabihin dahil yun ang nasa isip mo, it's not communication anymore kasi it's only a one-way process. For communication to work, the students should feed back to you. The students can give you answers. The students can feed back to you, ma'am, di namin naintindihan, di ba? Ay, ma'am, ang hirap naman ng lesson mo. O nakasimangot sila o nakasmile sila. So again, di ba ganun ang communication process? Ganun ang ating natutunan in the communication process. So, tama itong sinasabi ni Lee Iacocca na we have to really make sure to put across what is in our mind to our viewers and listeners. Okay. Now, let's now move on. Ngayon, ito na tayo, ha? Ano na ba ang steps to become a good public speaker? Ang dami kong sinabi. Nagbigay ako ng mga examples. Kahit sinabi ko na nga sa inyo na kahit ako, I was also bullied once in my life. Ako rin, pinagtawanan ako at kahit yung teacher ko, na-humiliate ako. Siyempre, pag na-humiliate ka ng teacher, pagtatawanan ka ng classmates mo. At kapag pinagtawanan ka ng classmates mo, papasok na ang low self-esteem, papasok na ang insecurities, papasok na yung disappointment mo, unhappy ka na. At ayaw mo nang magsalita, nag-clam up ka na. Italo ako doon. Ang tanong na ngayon, paano ka nga, madam, nag-improve bilang speaker? Anong ginawa mo? Puntahan na natin ito yung steps to become a good public speaker. Okay, how can I turn into a confident speaker from a fearful one? Okay, tingnan natin itong susunod. Ang una mong gagawin, you have to be honest. Analyze your fears muna. Yun ang step 1. You have to embrace who you are and accept who you are. Hindi pwedeng napakalaki ng standard mo sa sarili mo. Hindi naman pala ikaw nagpa-perform. 'Di ba? Parang hindi naman siya consistent. Kailangan analyze muna your fears. First question, where are you? Am I a beginner? Am I midway? Napakagaling ko na ba? Analyze mo muna. Ngayon, sabi mo ngayon, ay, lousy pa ako bilang speaker, ang hina-hina ko, di ba? Parang wala talaga akong confidence. Kasi yung nandoon sa image ng lalaki dyan, meron pa akong sense of dread. Choking pa ako, hindi ako makahinga, rapid yung heartbeat ko. Wobbly legs, nag-shake talaga siya, terrible. Feel ko, mahihimatay ako. Okay? So, kailangan mo munang tanggapin yung mga weaknesses mo. And after you list down where are you move now to what's your goal. Ano ba talaga ang goal mo na ngayon? Na-identify mo na nasa step 1 ka pa lang o letter A ka pa lang. Anong gagawin mo ngayon? Sige, nasa midway ka na. Letter M ka na sa alphabet. Ma'am, nasa letter M na ako as a public speaker. Sige, good. Ano na ngayon ang gagawin mo? Yung mga weaknesses mo, you strengthen it. Yung mga strengths mo, huwag maging kampante. Kasi the moment sinabi mo, perfect na ako, di ba? Walang mangyayari sa'yo kapag ganun, perfect ka na. Kailangan you always have a room to improve yourself. Then you have to measure the gap. Because in the planning phase, you always have to measure it. Measure in the sense, try to visualize yourself and measure where you are right now. Okay? Then you have to name the fears. Saan ka ba takot? Sa paggawa ng speech? Kasi kailangan, pag naging public speaker ka, ihahanda mo muna ang script mo. Mahina nga ako, madam, sa script writing Mahina akong gumawa ng speech kasi worst ang aking English language. Paano pa kaya akong magde-deliver? Worst na nga ako gumawa ng speech. Problema na nga. Paano pa kaya? Sabi ko nga sa inyo, lahat po yan nadadala sa practice. Because there's always a saying, practice makes perfect. Okay? Then, you have to break them down. Then try to eliminate already. Eliminate mo na. Meron na ako nito. Wala pa ako nito. Okay. Then, kapag alam mo na, na-list mo na lahat ng mga pagkukulang mo, lahat ng mga weaknesses mo, lahat ng mga strength mo, then you have to be honest with yourself. Kasi if you look at the box on the right portion, ang speaker, it's natural for the speaker to be nervous. Pero, pag sinabing liar, nagsisinungaling ka. Hindi ka true sa sarili mo. You are not honest with yourself. You are so scared but you don't accept your limitations. You don't accept your weaknesses. So you are a liar kasi kailangan harapin mo yon. Ngayon, tingnan natin ang fear scale. You have the fear scale, diba? On the lower right column. Extreme fear. Grabe ngaya ako, ma'am. Nadidismayo talaga ngaya ako, madam. Nadidismayo ako. Extreme na yon, diba? 9 to 10 ka na. Very fearful, 7 to 8. Moderate fear, 5 to 6. Low fear, 3 to 4. And no fear, 1 to 2. Ito pong fear scale, you can check it out in the internet. Kasi if I would still go into the breakdown of the scale, hindi natin kakayanin ang time. So I would suggest to our viewers and listeners, if you can check out in internet and find out, i-search niyo itong fear scale kasi doon may mga indicators. Like, paano ko masasabi na nasa 9 and 10 ako? Paano ko masasabi that I'm on 7 and 8? You can download that. You can check it out in the internet. To look for answers to the indicator so that malalaman mo din kung nasaan ka ngayon sa fear scale. So according to the quotation by Emerson, sabi niya, do the thing you are afraid to do and the death of fear is certain. Okay, sige. We now move on with the next. So, conquering your presentation nerves. First is know your audience. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng know your audience? Are you going to talk to the elementary students? How old are they? Kung teacher ka. What about, are you going to talk to high school and junior high school students? Professionals ba? Teachers ba? Nasa profession ba sila ng mga businessmen? So, kailangan identify mo muna. Kasi you would adjust your speech or whatever you're going to say to them, even your vocabulary, according to your audience. Kasi kailangan mo munang aralin kung sino ba talaga ang audience ko. Okay? Then, Know your material. Sinabi ko na po yan kanina, no? Pag alam mo ng audience mo, malalaman mo din what materials you are going to use. Okay, so am I going to use materials in the internet? Because later on, I have a slide that would elaborate on that. So yun muna ang gagawin mo. Know your audience and know your material. Okay. Then, of course, when you already know the audience and you now know the material, you will now assemble the pieces. Ano ba yon? First, if you look at it, you have planning. Paplanuhin mo lahat yan eh. Everything, all the details will be planned. What am I going to say? What am I going to prepare in my speech to my target audience? And how long am I going to say this? Like in my case, I ask the group, how long am I needed to speak today? So I have to ask that as a speaker kasi baka sumobra naman ang oras ko. Diba? That's part of preparedness, planning. And then, you have your own folder as a speaker, and in your folder, you keep everything inside. Meron ka doon na internet na ginamit mong mga materials from the internet. You have statistical data. Kasi pag may statistics ka, it would build up also your credibility as a speaker. Interviews, if there's a need, kasi depende naman kung anong klase na assignment ang binigay sa'yo. If you're only going to be a public speaker, then it would depend kung magsasalita ka sa harap ng, like right now, I'm talking to people that I cannot see because I'm here in the station of CARE 104.3. Pero nai-imagine ko na lang kayo, di ba? Pero kailangan mong paghandaan yan, di ba? Interview, kailangan ba? Yes, para ma-enhance mo ang speech mo. Magkaroon ka ng clip in between. Ang ginamit ko kanina, yung video ng lalaki na nagde-deliver so that I can put across the message to you. And the video that I used there is very much connected to my session today. Di ba part yun ng planning natin? Then we have jokes and quotes. Kailangan once in a while, mag-joke din si speaker. Pero nga, sinasabi natin depende if it's a live audience. Kasi kung live audience yan, makikita mo yung reaction nila na nagtatawa, that they're laughing also with you. Eh kung nasa istasyon ka, na-imagine ko na nagtatawa kayo, di ba? Tumatawa kayo, parang hindi ko ma-imagine na my audience are laughing. So, it would depend on the setup. It would depend on the situation. Then you have their handouts. Am I going to use handouts in my speech when I deliver? So these are assembling pieces already. Lahat yan hinihimay-himay natin bilang speaker. Because if you are unprepared, that would now lead into committing a lot of blunders in your delivery. Una pa lang, nagsimula ka pa lang magsalita, may pumalpak na. Di ba ang nangyayari, nawawala ka sa tamang mental set mo, affected ka na. So ang nangyayari, you committed another mistake. Tapos you committed another mistake naman. Ang dami mo ng mistakes, nagsimula lang sa isang simple mistake. Anong nangyari? Hindi mo na manage ang sitwasyon. When you commit a mistake, you have to make sure to have focus. That when you commit a mistake, it's okay. Then focus on your next move. Do not be affected. Kasi pag affected ka na, lagot ka na. Baka hindi mo matapos ang speech mo, walang natutunan sa iyo ang audience mo, kasi nag-buckle up ka na, you are in for more humiliations. So ang sasabihin ko dito, mental set, control your mind, and focus. Sabi nga sa quotation, if you would persuade, you must appeal to interest rather than intellect. Kasi ang ating kukurutin dyan, kumbaga, kikipditun tabaga dyan, viewers, suhart ng ating audience. O, example ko na naman dyan kanina si Sir na Melvin. Favorite example ko si Sir. Sinabi ni Sir Melvin kanina, you have to touch the heart of your audience. Tama po yun. Kasi pag in-strike mo yung heart ng audience at makaka-relate sila sa'yo, then the more that they will find your session meaningful. Diba? At they will learn a lot from you. Okay, now let's now move on with tackling the details. Kanina, meron ka ng folder, diba? Ano bang mga ilalagay ko sa folder ko? Ngayon, part pa din ito. May mga minor details pang tinatawag dyan. Papasok na ngayon yung place and time. What to use, how to choose. Paano ko na nga kaya yan pipiliin? Ano nga magiging basehan ko? At ano kaya ang mga gagamitin ko? Strategy po yan ng speaker. Ikaw lang po ang makakasagot niyan. But these tips would help you in one way or another, but you are still the one who will plan out everything. So, tingnan natin yung mga aids. Di ba ang teacher nga, meron tayong sinasabi na may dala tayong libro, may dala tayong mga projector, chalk and eraser. Di ba? Dami nating dala-dala sa classroom. Minsan nga, maleta nang dapat nating dalhin kasi may mga visual aids pa tayo. Merong mga lapel. Ang laki ng population ng mga classrooms ngayon, daming estudyante. So, ang mga teachers, gumagamit na ngayon ng lapel sa classroom para makinig ang mga estudyante sa kanila. And that is one of your aids. Kaya ang tanong, ano ba ang kailangan ko pang dalhin with me? So, flip chart. Diba? Pag sinabing flip chart, part na yon ng strategy ng speaker para makuha niya ang attention ng listeners. Dala-dala mo yun doon sa hall. Dala-dala mo yun sa room na gagawin mo yung venue ng yung pag-deliver ng speech. Then PowerPoint presentations, like what I'm doing right now. Then videos, which I used a while ago. Models, gumamit ka ng totoong tao, di ba? Pinapaso mo duman sa mga models mo to get the attention of your viewers and listeners and your audience. Pero make sure na merong connection. Kasi baka kumuha ka nga ng model at nag-model lang dahil gwapo at maganda pero no connection to your speech. You have to be aware of it that whatever you are going to use should all be interconnected to whatever topic you have in your speech. Then of course, handouts, which I mentioned a while ago, and audio. You have to check out the audio ahead of time. So meaning, friends, kailangan mong pumunta ng maaga sa venue. Bakit po kailangan pumunta ng maaga? Siyempre, testing mo na lahat. You have to test your laptop. You have to test the microphone. You have to test the audio. Kasi you will not be appreciated by the technical team if you are going to deliver at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you would arrive the venue at 2:10 in the afternoon. You are late. As a speaker, you have to be there in the venue at least an hour before your call because that's your time to rest, take breathing exercises to prepare yourself, check out everything, that everything is okay, coordinate with the technical team, if in case this happens, what are we going to do, para hindi rin sila, kumbaga ngaya, igwa kitang term sa Bicol na karag, baga, imagine an environment na karag, gabus ka mo, stressed out, you have to already expect that you are in for more failures, kasi nga, yung team mo pa lang, stressed na sa'yo, kasi nga, dumating ka ng late, part na rin niya ng tackling the details. Okay? So let's now move on with the next. Take time to laugh. It is the music of the soul. Okay. So when you are writing your own speech, you have to include anecdotes. Kanina nagkwento ako, di ba, about Nick Vujicic, Carlos P. Romulo, about my life, di ba? Just a portion of it. And I am already injecting a story that the viewers and listeners would learn something from. It may be humorous, like mamaya may kwento rin ako na humorous, which is also falling under anecdote, but I will share that to you later on para abangan nyo pa yon. Ano bang anecdote dyan? Diba? Then, songs and poems. So, I would like to correct that, It's poems. Poetry. Songs and poetry are very significant because it would touch the hearts of the bagets, yung mga ating mga young viewers. Yung mga usong kanta ngayon, ay abangan nyo kakantahan ko kayo mamaya, sasabihin ko na before I end. Kaya don't ever dare to leave this FB Live kasi hindi mo mapapanood yung aking gagawin. Reserve na yan mamaya. Okay? Then of course, poems. Diba? Kailangan pili ka rin ng mga poems na makaka-relate ang audience sa'yo na relate na din doon sa topic mo. And then jokes. Again, ang jokes, does it reflect your personality? Ito, I would like to stress on this. Kasi merong mga tao na serious talaga sila. Hindi bagay sa kanila yung nagbibiro na pag nagbiro siya, dry pa din, na parang nakurnihan tuloy yung audience sa'yo kasi hindi bagay sa'yo, then don't dare first. If you're only beginning, don't dare. But if you have practiced several times na yung joke mo parang nagbumagay na sa personality mo, then go. Pero kung serious si speaker na hindi ka nila alam na ganun ka talaga at kahit alam mong gusto mo mag-joke, nag-joke ka na, you gave your joke, hindi sila natawa, parang mas lalo kang nalagay sa humiliating situation. Kaya, wag muna. Sabi ko nga, practice, pag may time, pag yung personality mo medyo nag-jibe na doon sa joke mo, naaral mo na in due time, then fine, you can inject jokes already. Then, of course, you have to study the body of your speech kasi you have to plan out everything. Kung baga sa pagkain, the more you add spices, the more it becomes delicious. Pero yung may mga high blood, yung may mga sakit na, diba? Ang mga pagkain nila, asin na lang ng konti, wala ng oil, wala ng mga bitchin, wala ng mga ganon. Pero, nasasarapan pa rin sila. So, depende nga yun sa tao. But if you are going to deliver a speech, you have to add spices para hindi naman monotonous ang dating ng iyong delivery. And you have to make sure lagyan mo siya ng kulay. If you put color and if you put spices into your speeches, into your delivery, then the more it will be appreciated because the more it will be meaningful to your viewers and listeners and audience. Okay? Now, let's move on now with the structure your presentation. Kasi sinabi ko na kanina na sign of being prepared is when you are ready with what you're going to say. Because you planned out everything. Nasa number 3 na po tayo. So you have to structure your presentation. Yes, you are very good in English, but without preparation, you would still commit blunders. Only very few people are gifted with the power to speak in front of the audience on the spot without need of preparation. Pero karamihan sa atin, we need preparation. Ako nga, how many years am I teaching? I still need to prepare my lesson plan. I still have to prepare my script when I am assigned as the host for the day. Or if I am assigned to be the master of ceremony or the lady of ceremony for the day, I still have my script. So, yes, you are the best person who knows yourself more than anybody else. If you feel that you still need to have with you your script, then fine, bring it along with you. There's nothing wrong with it. As long as you don't read in the script in toto, na hindi ka na tumitingin sa audience mo. Remember yung napanood niya kanina? Sabi nga ng audience natin, ng listeners natin, ma'am, hindi na tumitingin sa audience. O, gusto mo ba yun? Kailangan, may script ka. You have to look at the audience once in a while. And when I say audience, eye-to-eye contact with your audience. Do not look at the rooftop or the ceiling kasi wala doon yung taong kinakausap mo. Okay? You have to talk directly to your audience. So, only if you are prepared with the structure of your speech will you build your confidence and you will be ready to face them because you know that you have prepared for it. Ngayon, ano ngayon itong structure natin ng presentation? Okay, we now move on with the slide we're in. This is only a suggested model for presentation. But friends, I don't have the monopoly of knowledge. When you check out the internet right now, you are bombarded with a lot of things like this. Ang daming versions. But I would like to share this one with you, di ba? It's a model for presentation. We have their preview. Di ba pa nagpe-preview tayo ng movie, alam na natin kung ano more or less ang kwento ng movie na yon. So ikaw, if you are a speaker, meron ka ng idea kung anong gusto mong mangyari sa speech mo. Ganun lang naman yon. So you have to preview already. Anong gusto kong mangyari? Anong objectives ko? Diba kanina, before I started, I have my objectives. Para yung aking mga listeners and viewers will know exactly yung pupuntahan natin together, 'di ba? Hindi kayo maiiwan. Sama-sama tayo. Kasi alam nyo na kung anong i-discuss ko. That's the same as a speaker. You have to preview already. You have to go into telling them what you are going to tell them. So you have to plan. Ano bang ilalagay ko sa introduction? Remember, if you're a speaker, you have to be honest and sincere. Ganun lang po yun. The only secret to becoming a very good speaker is to go into honesty and sincerity with the audience. So, tell them what you are going to tell them. And then we have the second, you have the tell them part, which is the body of your talk. Sabihin mo na ang gusto mong sabihin. Ikwento mo na ang gusto mong ikwento. Kung gusto mong ikwento ang buhay mo, siguraduhin mo na yung kwento mo something to do with your talk. Hindi pwedeng, yung example mo ng buhay mo, life story mo, napakahaba naman. Na-bore ng audience mo at magtatanong sila, Kiber, ano ba ang koneksyon ng sinasabi niya? Di ba? Sa talk niya, parang layo naman. So you have to plan out. Tell them exactly what you want to tell them. Then of course, you have to review. And when you review, babalikan, di ba? Titingnan mo ng paulit-ulit. Pupunta ka na into editing, correcting, babaguhin. So, do a lot of things with it, reviewing the whole thing. Tell them what you told them would be your summary. And that would be the last part. Never give a structure of your speech, leaving your listeners and viewers and audience hanging. You have to think of a very good introduction. You have to think of a very good ending. Your introduction and ending, you have to tie them together. Kailangan mong planuhin lahat. Diba ang paggawa nga ng bahay? Meron tayong blueprint. Paplanuhin. Anong size ng hollow blocks? Anong size ng steel ang gagamitin ko? Steel bars ang gagamitin ko. Lahat yun pinaplano. Ano ang end goal mo so that your house is as sturdy as possible, na it will not be toppled down by any calamity, it will not be toppled down by any storm. That's the same with the speech that you are going to prepare. For your speech to be very meaningful, you have to plan out carefully every detail of it from the introduction. Diba? O yung mga English majors nating mga listeners ngayon, alam nyo na yan, diba? Ang introduction, kailangan mai-entice ang audience mo na makinig sa'yo. But I will not go into the details of that. So it has to be very catchy. Isang salita mo pa lang, kuha mo kaagad yung audience mo. Then, ang ending mo din, pag-iisipan mong mabuti. Hindi lang yung thank you very much, tapos alis na si speaker. No, you have to end it beautifully. Diba? So yan, kailangan nating aralin yan. Kasi nga, uulitin ko na naman, practice makes perfect. It's not yet too late. All of us, after my talk today, can face the mirror and say, I am ready to improve myself and turn into a wonderful and great speaker. Okay? Then we now move on with the next. Ayun. Tingnan mo yan, nakataas na ang kamay ng speaker, di ba? Wow, ready na ang aking speech. Nagawa ko na. Okay? Naayos ko ng mabuti. Pero ang tanong, ano ba ang stages na dinaanan mo para masabi mo na you are ready? Okay? So, gumawa ka ba ng draft? Okay? Nag-edit ka ba? Did you sequence well your lines and your sentences and your ideas? Did you sit on it? Naupo ka ba? Pinag-isipan mo ba? Dinouble check mo ba? Ilang beses mo bang tiningnan? So I will tell you a story about Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, Mahatma Gandhi basically was bullied also during the time that he was still having his schooling in the high school. Okay? Nabully din siya. Sino ba yan si Mahatma Gandhi? O mamaya sabihin ko sa inyo kung sino ba talaga yan si Mahatma Gandhi. Ngayon si Mahatma Gandhi, nung nasa secondary siya, nung nasa high school siya, ilang beses siyang pinagtawanan. Ilang beses siyang nagkamali, nagbakil siya, nag-walk out siya sa classroom, hindi siya makapagsalita, hindi siya makatanong, napahiya siya ng mga classmates niya. Pero how did Mahatma Gandhi turn into a fearless leader of the revolution in India? Diba? Naku, napakamahiyain tapos fearless leader of the revolution. Paano ba nangyari yun? Oh, meron kasing experience si Mahatma Gandhi nung lawyer na siya kasi he is very intelligent kahit ang dami niyang mga nakomit na mga blunders in speaking, he is highly intelligent. So when he became a lawyer, imagine nyo nasa courtroom na siya, diba? In the presence of the judge and there's a trial going on. Nagkaroon siya ngayon ng stage fright kasi 'di ba sa loob ng trial room merong mga nanonood. So nagbakil na siya. Nung sinabihan na siya ngayon ng judge na you may now ask your question, hindi na siya nakapag-isip ng tanong. So nauna yung takot niya, ang ginawa niya, iniwanan niya ang courtroom, lumabas siya. At nung lumabas siya, nag-eksena siya. So imagine mong sarili mo, lawyer ka, tapos tumakbo ka out of the courtroom dahil natakot ka, nangyari yun sa kanya. Pero ano ang ginawa ni Mahatma Gandhi? Bakit siya naging fearless leader of the revolution? Kasi meron siyang passion. He promised himself that I want to free India. Okay? So, since nagkaroon siya ng gano'n na motivation, gusto kong makita na free ang India. Diba? Kaya, because of that passion, he decided to work on his weaknesses and turn them into strengths. Kaya naging fearless leader of the revolution. At kapag ikaw ay revolutionary, nagli-lead ka ng revolution, di ba, you have to capitalize on your voice. You have to capitalize on your motivating the people to join you to persuade them in your mission and in your goal. And that exactly happened to Mahatma Gandhi. So, see, that is only an example. It's not too late. Nako, lawyer na yan ha. Pero he did something good. It was life-changing because of his passion and motivation. Bilang teacher, in my case, ganun din ako. I was once bullied in my life. When I was in the high school, kinuwento ko na yan sa inyo. I studied in a Catholic institution, private institution. Okay? And karamihan ng classmates ko, mayayaman sila. Hatid sundo sila ng kotse. Kami hindi. But my father and my parents tried also to buy one. Meron kaming jeep noong mga panahon yon, jeep na niregalo ng lola namin. Pero nahihiya kami kasi kotse ang mga classmates namin. Kami kakarag-karag na jeep, diba? But that also contributed to my low self-esteem. I'm not blaming my parents because they gave me very good education. Though we are not rich, but the three of us, nung tatlo pa lang kaming magkakapatid, talagang pinag-aral naman talaga nila kami sa magandang paaralan. Pero yung mga classmates, di ba, hindi makokontrol pagdating sa bullying na binibilittle ka na, ay, di ba, jeep lang ang hinahatid ang panghatid sa kanila, kakarag-karag naman. And not only that, noon nagtitinda ako ng pulboron at ng popcorn, ako ang gumagawa. Pero ayaw ng magulang ko yan from my initiative. And because of that, my attempt of selling pulboron and sinabi ko popcorn, nagkaroon ako ngayon ng, kumaga sa Bicol, bansag. Pigbansagan na ako ka mga classmates ko, ngaya para tindang pulboron. And that added up to my very low self-esteem. And I started to buckle myself, to stay in the side, not to participate in activities. I was always looking at myself, comparing myself with other people in the classroom. I know I can speak, but I would rather not speak because I don't like to be laughed at. Pigbabansagan na nga ni ako, lalo pa akong uulukan. So, that is only an example. So, it basically wallowed down into depression. But I was able to emerge triumphant in the sense that when I went to college, I met very good professors who motivated me to do what I can do best. And now is my opportunity, di ba? Nandito naman ako, power of the microphone. I would like to mention one. I remember Sir Ramon De Leon. Are you listening? He is one. Ako, first time kong mabigyan ng flat 1 sa grade. And he would oftentimes give me comments like, you can speak well, ang galing-galing mo. And see, because of that teacher, there was a spark given by this teacher. It started my twist in the journey that I call teaching in the secondary level. He was not even an English teacher. He was my teacher in philosophy. But he was the one who told me, ang galing mo. And because of that motivation, I started to unbuckle myself and I started to open myself in college. I started participating in debates. I started participating in contests. And it was because of that. So we have to try to imagine ourselves as students o mga viewers and listeners natin. Don't let that person destroy you. Because may mga pinagdadaanan din sila nung time na yon, and perhaps they were unaware na nasaktan kanila in one way or another. Kaya nga kami bilang teachers, napaka-careful namin about how our students would feel. Kasi maybe we are going to change the life of our students and waste their life. Kaya yun ang sinasabi ko dito pagdating sa public speaking. Ang tao, human nature ng tao, di ba? Merong mga tao na kahit anong gawin natin, whatever we do to please them, they would never see the beauty in us. They would always look down on us. Kahit anong ginawa mo na yung best mo, wala siyang makitang tama. And worst, he would even pull you down the drain. Samang-sama na nga ang pakiramdam mo eh. Lalo ka pang, pinupull down the drain. Pero meron din tayong mga inspiration sa buhay natin ng mga guardian angels natin, na they would tell you exactly what is wrong with you in a nice way, and they would motivate you na kahit konti lang ang improvement mo, they'd tell you you're good. Kahit konti lang ang ginawa mo, they'd say, ang ganda ng sulat kamay mo, ang ganda mo ng magsalita. Ngayon, we have to combine all those experiences, the bad and the good, the positive and the negative, and work on our weaknesses and turn them into strengths, because wala tayong aasahang iba. We are the only one competing for ourselves, and we are not competing with anyone. We only compete with ourselves. So if you care at all, you'll get some results. If you care enough, you'll get incredible results. So yun umahaba na po yung kwento ko ng buhay, pero I'm sure it has a connection to turning out into a good speaker. So, kailangan lang naman talaga ng motivation ng mga tao sa paligid natin. Okay? Okay, let's now move on into this example. Narrow focus. This is only an example that to be a good public speaker, you must be a good thinker in private. Ano po bang ibig sabihin yan? Diba, if you are in private, nobody looks at you. Nobody witnesses what you're doing if you're alone. You have to, that's a formula eh. Isa po yan sa formula na kailangan may focus ka. Ano bang gusto kong sabihin? So, ito example lang naman ito. Let's say, ang general statement, ang speech ko, ganitong ginawa ko, ito ang plano ko. Sabi ko, I want to speak on importance of English to the other subject teachers. Yun ang goal ko. Ngayon, ang tanong, bakit? For what? So that they start using English as a medium of instruction, so that students become more fluent in English, and what will be my final purpose statement? So that they can become efficient for the competitive world. Now, kung titingnan mo ang focus mo, meron kang direction eh. Pero, pag nag-plan out ka, sabihin mo, paano ko ba mai-encourage yung listeners and viewers ko? You have to work on your voice projection because your job is to persuade. It should not be a monotonous voice. You have to make sure to play with it depending on the occasion. So, hindi pwedeng, di ba ang pagkanta nga, may mga tono yan, paiba-iba ang tono mo, merong alto, soprano, ang pagsasalita, ganun din. And you have to practice that in private. So, when you prepare your speech, you already have your focus, you have to work on your speech, allow other people to look into your speech, like ask your teacher, ask your parent, ask your friend who can look into it. Never plan out nor deliver a speech without asking the opinion of people close to you. Usually, I would do it, I would practice in front of my sisters or my best friend or even my mother because they would tell you exactly like, ano ba yan? Ang bilis mo naman magsalita, diba? Ano ba yan? Ang pangit naman ng speech mo. Then, because you have shown your speech to your critic, then you are still given time to work on it. And that is a formula. Wag mong gagawin all by yourself. although I mentioned in private, hindi nakikita ng audience mo. Go into the people that you trust. Tell them to look into it. And if you are still in doubt, look for an English teacher. Let him edit your work. Okay? Then, apply visualization strategy. You have to imagine yourself speaking at all times. Okay, in number 4, I would like to zero in on that. A while ago, you might have this question like, Ma'am, paano mo na-develop yung sarili mo into a better speaker right now? Bakit nag-accept ka na ngayon ng mga speaking engagements, diba? Sabi mo, takot na takot ka dati. Sinabi ko kanina na because there are some guardian angels in your life who would motivate you to turn into a beautiful, well-deserved person in the craft. I remember Ma'am Norma Samantella. She is our superintendent right now in the SDO Albay. During my time when I started as an English teacher, she was the English supervisor. And I owe a lot of my being a speaker, accepting engagements like this to her. Why? Because she was, after my college life and when I had my profession as teacher, she was the first person who believed in me. She was our supervisor at the time. Naalala ko siya after running a session kasi sabi niya, Miss Zuniga, I will get you as a facilitator and speaker sa division natin. Magra-run ka ng session. Ay nako, 'di ba? Imagine, ma'am, division na 'yan, nakakatakot, 'di ba? But you see, right after every talk, she would invite all the teachers who were speakers during that time and we would go into processing. She would process. And one thing I liked about the opportunity was she was very honest. And she told me, Angie, ang bilis mo magsalita. Ano ba yun? Walang naintindihan sa'yo ang audience mo. See? But she would always end it with, you're doing the right job. You are doing well. There are a lot of motivations going on. Then Ma'am Fatima Buen came in the picture when she became the education program supervisor in English too. She also gave me a lot of breaks. And also Ma'am Claire Barcelona. These 3 people, definitely, it was life-changing because in DepEd, talagang ang daming opportunities na binigay sa akin ng 3 ito. And I owe myself really to the 3 of them. So I practice it to my students. Though sometimes there are only little improvements, I would tell my students that because it would create a spark to the life of the students. Pag nagsusulat ang mga estudyante sa'yo, sasabihin, Ma'am, nung naging teacher ka namin, na-motivate mo ako, di ba nakakatuwa yun? You are turning the students into a more passionate and committed person who believes in himself because of the motivation that you gave. Okay, so yun, visualization, ano ba ang connection ng mga taong yun sa'yo? Then if these people inspire you, di ba? Habang nagbe-visualize ka, imagine mo rin ang 3 yon na part sila ng audience mo. Kasi yung mga taong yon ang nakatulong sa'yo, yung mga taong yon ang contributory to whoever you are right now. I would oftentimes practice that every time I would deliver, even now, in my speeches, when I am assigned as facilitator, I would imagine Ma'am Fatima Buen, Ma'am Claire Barcelona, and Ma'am Norma Samantella to be part of the audience. And that motivates me. I'm not saying you do the same. That is my strategy for myself. But again, you as speaker can create as many strategies as possible just so you can turn into a very good speaker with a microphone, whether you have or not, diba? So imagine yourself speaking. Yun po yun, ang apply visualization strategy. Then, pause, smile, count 1, 2, 3 before saying anything. O matatawa tayo, sabihin nyo, ano ba yan? Siyempre, hindi mo naman ipaparinig sa audience mo na magka-count 1, 2, 3 ka. Sa isip mo lang yon. So, project. Kanina, I would share something to you. Ang technical team namin dito sa CARE, sasabihin sa amin, sige ma'am, magsalita ka na. May cue na sila. Diba? Syempre naman, pag nagsabi na silang, go na. Diba? Smile muna ang project mo. Hindi pwede na start right away na kasi mangot ka pa. You have to pause. Diba? Smile, count, 1, 2, 3 in your mind before saying anything. Okay. I hope you would apply that. Then, of course, practice it in your voice, loud, clear, and confident. If you already have a microphone, don't shout. Ay nako, maiirita ang audience mo na nabibingi sila sa'yo. Okay? Oh, so you have to make sure if you have the microphone, you have to listen to yourself. Ask your best friend to act as the one giving you the cue at the back of the room. Titingnan mo lang siya to give you the cue na kung masyadong malakas ang boses mo sa microphone, bigyan ka niya ng cue. So that you would know if there's a need for me to adjust my voice over the microphone. Again, diskarte natin yan. Strategy. Okay? Then, it should be clear. And when you say clear, you have to pronounce your words carefully. In my case, I have the tendency to talk fast. And that is my weakness. So I would oftentimes ask my friends like, oh, you have to tell me ha, tingnan lang kita ha, sabihin mo sa akin kung ang bilis-bilis ko ha, so that I would know whether I am not understood or not. And of course, confident. When we say confidence, yun ang sinasabi natin na pag nasa side of the stage ka, okay lang. Lukso-lukso ka, ninenervyos ako, grabe, di ba? Matay na ako. Pero pag nandyan na ang camera sa harap mo at nagsabi na ang technical team na go, hindi na pwede yan. Kailangan mo nang dalhin yung nervyos na yan. It is how you carry yourself in front of the audience. Okay? You may be very nervous, but the moment the camera is on you, the microphone is switched on, you have to kumbaga ngaya, nag-switch ka kaagad sa ibang tao na, confident ka na. Kasi, you capitalize on that to get the respect of your listeners and viewers. Without confidence, you can never earn their trust. So, that is another secret, di ba? Practice, practice, and practice. Okay. Practice it in your mind. So that's the next slide. Practice it in your mind. There the saying, what the brain dictates, the body follows. So practice, practice, more practice, and practice again. You can never turn into a very good speaker without practice. And coupled with it is patience, commitment, and passion. If you want to be a teacher and you are going to face your students, you should love your students, and that should be your motivation because you are going to make a difference in their lives. Yun ang kailangan nating i-capitalize. Okay? So you have to think, practice, practice, and more practice. Then we now move on with the next slide. You have to observe yourself. Enthusiasm and fear can share the same stage. Hindi pwede yan. They cannot. Mag-aaway sila eh. Kailangan enthusiastic ka na, tapos yung fear mo, hindi siya pwedeng pagsabayin. So you have to be natural. You have to be prepared. And you have to be enthusiastic. And when we say natural, nako, hindi yung para ka nang magde-deliver ng speech sa yung parang makikipag-away ka na, di ba? Ang taas-taas ang boses mo, na akala mo, sabi ganyan ni ma'am, I have to capitalize on my voice. Pero you're not natural. So, the natural way of doing it. And you can only do it only if you are prepared. Okay? And we now move on with the next. Remember the 8 P's. We have prior planning, proper practice, with polishing, prevents poor performance. And that would mean all the letter P's. Ulitin natin, prior planning, proper practice, polishing, prevents poor performance. Without that, you can never be a good speaker. So kaya sinabi ko kanina, you have to really make sure that you are committed and patient. Keep your posture relaxed. That's the next slide. Your voice should be clear. Maintain direct eye contact. Okay, so I mentioned that one already a while ago. So, like right now, I am in the station. I would oftentimes ask the technical group to just give me a cue if how many minutes more I am needed to talk, because you see, we have to be very strict with time allotment. Okay, yan. So, let's now move on with your smile. Ayun. Your smile, gestures, head and eyes, di ba, would surface your sincerity. Ngayon, pag nag-smile ka, di ba, ang gestures mo, iwasan ang mannerisms, di ba? Kailangan yung kailangan lang na gestures, head and eyes. If you want, for example, to reiterate something, then you have to use your body language and the movement of your hands. And then always make sure that when you are talking, you are sincere. And when can you say that you are sincere? It comes from the heart. And because you're honest with what you're doing, then it would flow out to your audience, to your listeners and viewers, and it would come from the heart. And that is a cue that you are really very sincere. Okay? Then we have now the next. Experience builds confidence, which is the key to effective public speaking. And sabi nga natin, you can only build confidence only if you follow what I said a while ago, that you are prepared for it. Okay? And the moment you are prepared, then confidence will be built, because it's the key to effective public speaking. Then we have, remember, every individual matters. Every individual has a role to play. Every individual makes a difference. And hopefully, we can say that, yes, I have my guardian angels in my life. I have people who put me down. But when I combine all those experiences, I have to make sure that I can triumph all this, because it is only me who's going to battle all those fears inside. And sabi nga natin, you yourself can make a difference. You have to bear that in mind. Dictate that in your mind so that it would follow. Okay? Always tell yourself, I'm beautiful. Always tell yourself, I'm good. I'm great. Diba? Yan. Then, of course, we have the next. Be different and not indifferent. Okay. That's very clear, ano? Do not be indifferent. Kailangan mong, lumabas sa iyong, comfort zone. Then, be different and not indifferent because you are unique. Yun. Effective public speaking is influence. Influence is leadership. Leadership is being different and successful. Okay. Then, of course, what have you become? Kapag finalo mo na po yung mga stages sa sinabi ko, then look, pinapalakpak ka na ngayon sa speaker. Why? You have become systematic. You have become acceptable. You have become confident. You have become fearless. Acceptable because you accepted yourself for who you are. And from there on, you love yourself. You accepted your limitations. And then you can turn into a very confident and fearless speaker. Being different and successful is making a positive contribution. And making a positive contribution is creating an impact. Let's not be a liability to the society. Let's be an asset to the let's be an asset and not a liability. Okay? Remember, a small step can make a big difference. 'Di ba? Ang bata ganun eh. Take one small step at a time and then bigger steps later on. Okay. This time, I promised, I would wrap up now, I would end my session right now with a song, a part of the song by Whitney Houston. Okay? Kakantahan ko naman kayo, just a portion of it, kasi I promised you, diba? O, ganito. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. You know what miracles you can achieve. When you believe, somehow you will. You will when you believe. Okay, ulitin ko yung last. Nasintonado tayo. You will when you believe. Yan, di ba? Okay, according to Nelson Mandela, everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Okay, and for that, happy learning everyone. And again, congratulations to the English Club headed by Ma'am Dasilio and of course, Dicomsi for inviting me. Once again, good afternoon.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that very educative, instructive, and cognizant lecture po all about managing fear in public speaking. We truly learned a lot po kung paano namin ima-manage yung sarili namin sa harap ng napakaraming tao, yung takot kapag magsasalita sa unahan. Hindi ba, partner? Yes.
And what are your takeaways, Kuya Nins ba?
Yung sinabi ni Madam kanina na a small step can make a difference. Kaya kumbaga, yung fear na yon, hindi mo kailangan na basta na lang tatakutan mo. Hindi ka na magsasalita because you have that fear. Whereas, you have to step up. Kailangan mong ibigay yung sarili mo. Kahit maliit na bagay man yan, sige lang, push lang. Kasi in the end, it will make a big difference for you.
Yes, indeed, partner. And then, one of the takeaways ko kay Madam is that public speaking is not about your looks or physical appearance in front of the crowd.
Exactly.
It's about your passion of speaking.
Yes. And yung sabi nga ni Madam kanina, 'di ba, na even us, mga English majors, mga students na hindi tayo kumbaga bilang mga English majors parang nire-recognize tayo or nakikita tayo ng mga ibang tao na parang hindi na tayo nagkakamali. But then as a human, nagkakamali din tayo, 'di ba, na mag-commit ng mga mistakes. But then those mistakes can make a big difference to us, 'di ba? May impact din yung mga mistakes niyan kasi it will make us improve in the next chapter of our lives.
Yes, and hindi naman meaning na English major tayo, ibig sabihin we cannot commit mistakes. So kahit tayo, 'di ba, ngayon kanina gabeng ka ba?
Kaya nga ngayon, partner, ayan,
Yes.
sabi ko sa'yo kanina, hindi matatapos yung webinar natin ngayon na hindi natin na gagawa ng maayos yung ating hashtag kanina. Sayang naman ang choreography
Di kasi
na
tayo
pinaghanda.
nagkasabay kanina. Ulitin natin. Hindi pwedeng matapos na hindi natin
So
maulit
sa ating
yun.
mga live viewers and of course si Ma'am, invite din natin si Ma'am na
Ano
gawin
sabihin?
yung ating hashtag,
Yung
for today.
ma'am. Hashtag number 1, speak better and teach better. And hashtag number 2,
Dicomsi English Club Webinar. So,
Again,
ayan po,
koryo,
sabay-sabay
koryo.
po tayo. Kasama po yung ating speaker, si Ma'am Zuniga. Ayan, so, hashtag number 1,
Speak better, teach better.
and hashtag number 2, Dicomsi English Club Webinar. O, di ba?
Perfect.
Perfect na yun.
Pwede na umuwi.
Yung kaninang may pagkakamali, ngayon, naisa katuparan na natin.
Yes, and partner,
Before we proceed po to the open forum, let's now have an intermission number from second year Mathematics B student, Mr. Jeric Arreval.
Everybody know the things you do, from the way you talk to the way you move. Everybody here is watching you, 'cause you feel like home. You're like a dream come true. But if by chance you're here alone, can I have a moment before I go? 'Cause I've been by myself all night long, hoping you're someone I used to know. You look like a movie, you sound like a song. My God, it reminds me of when we were young. Let me photograph you in this light, in case it is the last time that we might be exactly like we were before we realized we were sad of getting old. It made us so restless. It was just like a movie, it was just like a song. I was so scared to face my fears. Nobody told me that you'd be here. That's when you move overseas. That's what you said when you left me. Still look like a movie, still sound like a song. My God, it reminds me of when we were young. Let me photograph you in this light, in case it is the last time that we might be exactly like we were before we realized we were sad of getting old. It made us so restless. It was just like a movie, it was just like a song. When we were young, when we were young, when we were young. It's hard to win me back. Everything just take me back to when you were there, to when you were there. And a part of me keeps holding on, just in case, as it hasn't gone. I guess I'll still care. Do you still care? It was just like a movie, it was just like a song. My God, it reminds me of when we were young. Let me photograph you in this light, in case it is the last time that we might be exactly like we were before we realized we were sad of getting old. It made us so restless. I'm so mad I'm getting old, it makes me reckless. I'm so mad I'm getting old, it makes me reckless. It was just like a movie, it was just like a song when we were young.
Thank you so much, Jerica Arevalo. Isa din to, suki ng mga webinar, no?
Yes. Sana all, di ba, may na mga napakagandang bosses.
Parang si Madam lang
si Madam,
kanina.
di ba?
Speaker na singer pa.
Yes, dual purposes.
Yes, so after a mindful presentation of our very own speaker, Miss Angelica Zuniga, we now come on a time to raise your queries. So we are encouraging everyone to please comment your questions in the comment box below. Yes. And of course, po pala, without the information of our viewers, the English Club have listed the top
Yung
five
first 5 entrants
yes.
natin.
Yes.
Registrants.
or the
rather.
early birds.
Mhm.
So, allow me to read to you the winners who will be receiving 50 peso load. And then, number
Yes.
1, ang pinakauna sa listahan na
Number 1.
nag-registered is Jonald Asicate of second year BP Ed D.
Jonald Asicate.
Yes, second is Lowell J. Nosares, 3 English B.
Lowell J. Nosares.
Congrats! And Rose Andel Mundo of 3 Filipino A.
Rose
and
Andel
fourth,
Mundo.
Ralph Arthur Mendones of 3 Block 8. And our last winner is Beverly Lianeta of second year BPLD.
Yes,
Congrats!
congratulations
So
po
later,
sa mga
marireceive
winners.
nyo na po ang inyong
50
mga load.
pesos load.
Yes.
Ayan.
So, comment nyo na po ang inyong mga questions. We are
Ayan.
waiting.
You may now raise your queries na po to our speaker.
Ito partner, meron tayong isang question.
Meron isa.
From Mark Anthony Galliano Zarzuela from second
Mhm.
year Filipino A. So ma'am, I work in different BPO companies for almost 4 years. Wow. And still I'm using vocal fillers. So is there an efficient way to get over with it?
Okay, sige. When we talk about vocal fillers, diba, it is, you oftentimes speak and then you would insert mga that is basically a sign that there is still anxiety and there's still fear present in you, and that can still be improved by practice. Wala naman tayong ibang formula dyan, kundi you have to practice speaking. Hopefully you would do it when you are alone in your room, diba? You would face the mirror and then you would talk as just parang exercise mo lang siya. Kunyari, meron kang tanong sa sarili mo, sagutin mo yung sarili mo in English, because usually what would boil into vocal fillers is when you're talking in English, and because you are not sure about what to say next, diba? Kasi nga hindi nga fluent yung pagsasalita mo ng English, nawawalan ka na ng vocabulary, nawawalan ka na ng sabihin, i-insert mo na ngayon yung and Kasi gap yun parang space yun in between words. So, since wala ka nang masabi na English, kasi nga alam mong hindi ka pa magaling, pinapasok mo na yung filler. So the only thing you can do is to really practice it. And I would oftentimes do that alone in my room. Sabihin pa nating luka-luka ka, but that's a strategy on how you can improve yourself, then you would do that, diba? Practice. Kahit sa banyo, diba? While sitting on Mang Doro's chair, diba? You do that. Parang feeling mo, sumasagot ka palaging nasa pageant, nag-imagine kang tinatanong ka na what is an essence of a woman, what would you say? But these are starting from the basic Kailangan ma-build muna sa'yo ang confidence, because the moment you don't, ang English naman naaaral yan by practice. So the only thing I can do is practice makes perfect. Yun talaga yun.
So, highlight yun kanina ni ma'am sa presentation niya that practice makes
makes
perfect.
perfect.
And it's not too late for everyone to be good at communication.
Kaya
Alright.
practice lang ng practice, guys.
Kahit tayo, di ba, habang naliligo,
Yes.
sige, practice.
Naliligo.
Go lang.
Diba tayo nga, kahit naliligo tayo, kumakanta tayo. Diba?
So, don't be afraid to commit mistakes. And if you have fear from the past, I think it's time to overcome it and let go of the pain of the past. And start a new beginning in which you have to improve yourself. So, little step at a time.
Yes. Pakonti-konti lang.
Yes.
Pero marireach mo rin yan. Diba?
So,
another question from John Carlo Auditor Ate of BSED Filipino B. Sometimes because of judgment, critic, or negative reactions from others, Speakers have their fear to speak and express themselves. My question, ma'am, is what advice or words can you give to people who are sometimes judgmental and have high standards to the speakers?
Wow, ang
Eto.
gandang tanong.
Okay. Remember, you cannot control what is in the mind of a person. Talagang we have to really accept the fact that there are really people with very high standards because it is part of their character already. And it's something beyond our control. Di ba na-experience natin na, yun nga sinabi ko kanina na kahit anong gawin nating tama, mali pa rin sa kanya. Kahit nag-try ka na, di ba? Feeling mo you have exceeded your own expectations for yourself, pero sa kanya, wala pa rin yun. Parang, yan lang ang kaya mong maibigay. But for me, I am happy about what I did. I did my best. So, the only thing that you can do is, take it one step at a time. Do not make it a deterrent to your improving yourself because that person will not change for you. Diba? Wala namang taong babaguhin ng ugali para sa'yo eh. Kaya, it's how you deal with the person. So, anyway, tinanong nyo na lang naman ako nito. I would like to give an example. Because he is a faculty of DCOMC and he was once my student and I'm very proud of him. Roy Kapampangan is now a teacher in Daraga Community College. And when I was his teacher way back, I believe, 3rd year college and 4th year college, hawak ko sila sa English. I would oftentimes correct Roy because his tendency is to pronounce words, lalo na yung mga letter yung mga sound, di ba? Because of the dialect siguro sa lugar nila,
Yes.
you have the tendency to pronounce it as long. Yung parang yung mga men, nagiging mean, di ba? Men, there's a tendency to do that. But he is a living testimony of how you can turn into a very effective teacher. Right now, I have high respects for him. He's also a trainer in the Legazpi division. But somebody has to tell the person. The teacher has to tell the person. Hindi pwede na mali na yung ginagawa niya. Hindi mo siya sasabihan. But you have to do it in a manner that is not offensive. You have to do it in a manner that is still encouraging. You may give a letter. You may just give a note like, you can still work on this. You can still do this. You can perfect your craft. But now see, he is very effective. But he's not shy to say that. Lahat naman tayo dumadaan sa buhay natin na talagang lousy tayo eh. But it's how you would face it and the people around you, how they would encourage and motivate you and how you want to be motivated. But right now, di ba, he has gained a lot of respect also from faculty members, from his co-teachers, from his students, even the teachers in the Legazpi division, even in Albay division kasi nakakasama ko siya. So I'm really very very happy about him. So yun, it's not too late, 'di ba? Huwag tayong magkaroon ng negativity sa atin na hindi ko kaya yan kasi what the brain dictates talaga, the body follows. 'Di ba na experience yun na sabihin mo magkakasakit ako, nagkasakit ka nga. Sabihin mo, naku, parang I want to go to the comfort room, talagang pupunta ka kasi the body would follow what the brain is dictating. So hopefully, the viewers and listeners would learn na habang may buhay, may pag-asa, it's how we face our challenges in life. Take it positively. Ito, magagaling itong mga estudyanteng katabi ko. Si Eunice, estudyante ko nung nasa high school, di ba?
Opo.
I saw her improve into what she is now. So, as teachers, it's very rewarding to see students right now who are like that. So yung mga nakikinig sa atin, do not lose hope. Yun lang po.
Yes.
And since na-mention na ni Ma'am, si
Yes.
Sir Roy Kapangpangan. Hello po, sir.
Nakikinig ba si
Hey,
Roy
sir.
ngayon?
Yes
Hopefully
po,
nakikinig siya
and-
sa akin.
Actually, Ma'am,
yeah.
he has been one of the influencers po in us, in motivating
yes.
us, in inspiring us to be the best of ourselves po. Yan. Hello po, Sir
Hello,
Roy.
Sir
Hi, Roy.
And now we know where Sir Roy learned
Diba?
from the best, of course, Ma'am
Yeah,
Zuniga.
Ma'am Zuniga.
Yeah.
Maganda naman kasi yung attitude niya talaga.
Opo.
Yeah. Accepting his limitations and weaknesses and turning them into strengths.
Opo, kumbaga dati sinishare, sa amin din po, sinishare niya din po yung mga experiences niya na kumbaga kung kaya niya noon, nagawa niya, kung ano siya ngayon, sinasabi niya din sa amin na we can do the same.
Yes, and Sir Roy never fails to compliment us whenever he saw something good in us.
Yes.
Diba? Kunyari sa pag-public speaking,
Kahit
ni-encourage
simpleng bagay
tayo.
yan,
Oo.
yes.
Yeah.
You can
Nandyan si
really
sir.
see the potential in the person. Alright, so next question from Jobert Yero Besmonte from third year BP Ed.
Ed.
Yes, so ma'am, my question po is, as an English teacher, how can you handle students having fear talking in front of your class?
As an English teacher, palagi naman yan, hindi nawawala yan sa classroom. So, hindi talaga nawawala yan. Take time, kumbaga, take time to listen muna. Sometimes you would even go to the extent of having a heart-to-heart talk na, ano ba talagang nahihirapan mo? I would oftentimes give them letters, like, yung mga letters sa, yung nasa mga heart-shape, nilalagay ko na, what is your difficulty? Nagsisimula tayo doon. You have to build muna trust to your students kasi that cannot be learned over time. The moment trust is not built, no student would open up to you. Kasi kailangan mo munang hanapin ang cause nung problem nung estudyante. Kaya the first step to doing that is building trust between you and the student. And from there on, plan out what to say next. Papasok na ngayon yung encouragement ni teacher, papasok na doon yung taking time. Pag nagsabi sa akin ng estudyante, ma'am, can you go back to me later? Hindi pa po ako ready. Then you have to listen. Do not force the child or do not force the student to answer you. Kasi, nire-reviews na nga, you are still forcing him. So if a student would say, ma'am, hindi pa ako ready, pwedeng balikan mo na lang ako. I would say, okay, well taken. You can write in your notebook your answer, then later on, I will go back to you. Well, it's just more on the understanding on the part of the teacher that the student is willing to tell you exactly what he wants to say, but you have to give him time. Kasi hindi naman para-pareho ang mga estudyante mo, ang level nila sa pagsasalita. Kailangan lang naman maging open-minded and affectionate ni teacher para maintindihan niya yung mga yung struggles ng mga estudyante niya.
Yes, ma'am. So, another question,
question
ma'am.
pa po, ma'am.
Wow, ang active pa rin ng ating
Marami
mga viewers.
tayong mga question
Despite
na
na
naman.
brown out sa karamihan ngayon
Yes,
dito.
marami po ang
Ay, talaga?
nakakapag-encounter
Yes,
ng
ma'am.
power interruption
So,
this day po. Ayan,
So we
pero
are extending
still,
our gratitude to the
Yes.
viewers na hanggang ngayon nandito pa rin sa
nandito
atin.
pa rin sa atin. Thank you so much po.
Thank you po.
So, another question po from Mr. Alvin Monterola of 3 English A. Aside from practicing my English, how can I enhance more to perfect it?
Wow, perfect.
Perfect it.
It all still boils down to practicing
Practice.
it.
Yes.
Because you will never reach perfection if you are not going to practice.
practice.
Pero ako, I basically believe that there's always room for improving. Because if we say we're already perfect, imposible yon. Kasi kahit nga yung mga super galing na mga speakers, they would still commit blunders.
Yes.
Nagpapalpak pa rin sila. So what more yung mga ordinary speakers like yung nagsisimula pa lang ng mga estudyante.
Opo.
Diba? So, ang ano lang naman doon is constant practice. And when you practice it, you have to acknowledge your weaknesses and you have to list them down and target on improving them. And from there on, that will just follow. You would only realize na, ay, nag-i-improve na ako, nandito na pala ako sa level 5, nasa level 6 na ako, kasi ikaw mismo, you are working on your weaknesses, and because you are aware of it. Yun na, just is a matter of accepting it and doing something about it.
Yes, so last question na ata natin tong i-entertain.
Okay.
From Maria Noemi Serenas Lusada from 2 English F. Ang tanong niya po, ma'am, is what is the most important part of public speaking?
Ako, I would fully believe everything in the steps that I said, di ba? Kasi, nandoon yung speech mo, nandoon yung visual aid mo na physical aspect, nandoon yung non-verbal and verbal. Actually, lahat yung tutuhug-tuhugin mo yun. It's similar to a necklace. You cannot create a necklace without all the parts. And it's also the same with a car. Hindi aandar ang sasakyan kung hindi kumpleto ang parts niya they would all play together, pareho ng katawan natin, di ba? Although si Nick Voyage kulang yung kanyang parte ng katawan, pero still, di ba, nagawan mo pa rin ng tangible, nagawan mo pa rin ng paraan to work on your kumbaga, without limits, without limitation. So, yun pa rin, lahat yun kailangan mong aralin yun. If you really want to perfect the craft, master the craft, then you have to learn everything from the beginning till the end. Yun lang, and then you practice it.
Alright, thank you so much, ma'am, for answering po the questions of our live viewers for for this afternoon.
So it looks like we have already covered all your queries. So Ma'am
Yes.
Suniga, is there anything else po you would like to mention?
mention.
I would like to shout out, I think. I would like to shout out. Di ba yun ang mga ang lengguwahe ng mga kabataan natin? I'd like to shout out the principal of Daraga National High School, of
Ay,
course.
hello, ma'am.
Hello,
Hi, Ma'am Bigkas.
to Dr. Lourdes Bigkas,
Yes,
our
hello,
ever-supportive
ma'am.
principal of Daraga National High School. Of course, Ma'am Merlupo and Ma'am Lenny Buragay, our assistant principals. And the teaching and non-teaching staff of Daraga National High School. Lahat sila. And of course, I would like to say happy birthday to my two uncles, my Uncle Ferdinand and my Uncle Emmanuel, who are celebrating their birthdays.
Happy
Yun lang
birthday
po.
po.
And all my loved ones. Hello.
So,
Yun lang po.
I guess, ma'am, that's all. Thank you po for sharing your knowledge all about public speaking. And we truly learned a lot for today po. And that speaking skills are one of the most important skills that we have to learn, as it allows us to communicate with others and express our thoughts and feelings. Again, thank you so much, ma'am, for that very mindful and educative lecture about public speaking. And at this juncture, we will now award the certificates po for the resource speaker and to Care 104.3 The Way FM. But first, allow me to read the citation. The citation reads, Republic of the Philippines, Commission on Higher Education, Daraga Community College, Salvacion Daraga Albay, English Club. Certificate of Appreciation is hereby awarded to Ms. Angelica L. Zuniga for sharing her invaluable time and expertise as resource speaker during the webinar session entitled Managing Fear in Public Speaking, Key to Effective Communication on March 27, 2021 via Care 104.3 The Way FM. Awarded this 27th day of March 2021 at Care 104.3 The Way FM station, Arimbay, Legazpi City. Signed by the FEG English Club Advisor, Ms. Bernadette A. Dasilio. Signed by the Student Affairs and Services Coordinator, Ms. Clarence Faith Ibueno. Signed by Dr. Melvin M. Guyena, the College Dean. And of course, signed by the College Administrator, Dr. Joey M. Zamora.
And the same certificate is hereby awarded to Care 104.3 The Way FM for being a proactive partner in delivering the webinar on managing fear in public speaking, key to effective communication on March 27, 2021 via Care 104.3 The Way FM. Awarded this 27th day of March 2021 at 104.3 The Way FM station, Arimbay, Legazpi City. Signed by our FEG English Club Advisor, Bernadette Dasilio, and our OSAS Coordinator, Clarence Faith E. Bueno, signed by our College Dean Melvin M. Guyena, and signed by our College Administrator, Dr. Joey M. Zamora.
Ayan, so certificate po, ma'am. Thank you so much,
Thank you
ma'am,
so
for
much,
being
ma'am.
with us today
Thank
and
you
for
very much,
sharing your
Dear
knowledge
Committee.
po.
Yes.
Ayan. And for the opening, for the closing remarks, let's welcome po our Student Affairs and Services Coordinator, Ma'am Clarence Faith E. Bueno.
In behalf of the whole DCOMC community, headed by Dr. Joey Zamora and our college dean, Dr. Melvin Goyena, I would like to express our sincerest appreciation to our guest speaker, Ma'am Angie Zuniga. You have really enlightened and encouraged us to speak confidently in public. Thank you to Care 104.3 The Way FM for your generous contribution and support extended to DCOMC. Thank you, Ma'am Raquel, Camo Landong, and to our very supportive technical team, Kuya Jun Apinado and Marjorie Pokua. And of course, to our head organizer, the English Club, headed by Ma'am Badette Dasilio, To our hosts, Nino and Eunice, and the rest of the English Club, maraming salamat. I'm sure this will definitely benefit many students and listeners all over the Bicol region. Now, as we end, now that you have learned to express yourselves confidently through the help of our very able speaker, Ma'am Angie Zuniga, let us remember this acronym for speaking fluently this Lent season. D, do not forget love. Yan, D-com-C, do not forget love. C, communicate Christ. O, omit profanities or curses. And M, make mention of praiseworthy things. Let others praise you. Make mention of other praiseworthy things. And C, choose to speak the truth always. So yan, tandaan nyo po, ngayong Lent season, D-com-C. So thank you ma'am again, Ma'am Zuniga, and to the rest of the English Club at sa lahat ng mga estudyante who stayed with us from 2 to 5 in the afternoon. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Alright, thank you so much, Ma'am Clarence, for your words po. And for our future educators, for our live viewers who are there for us since 2 o'clock until now, thank you so much for being with us today. And of course to Ma'am Zuniga for being our speakers today. And to Care 104.3, The Way FM, of course, with their station manager, Ma'am Raquel Camo-Landong, for accommodating us today and for being our partner in making this webinar a success. And of course, to Daraga Community College, to Dr. Melvin M. Guyena, our college dean, and of course, to Dr. Joey M. Zamora, our college administrator, and to the whole teaching and non-teaching staff of Daraga Community College. Thank you so
po.
much.